Hey everyone! Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about vapor lock, a common problem that can affect your car's engine. Vapor lock occurs when the fuel in your car's fuel lines turns into vapor, which can prevent the engine from getting the fuel it needs to run. This can cause your car to stall, hesitate, or even refuse to start. In this video we'll be discussing the symptoms of vapor lock, the causes of vapor lock, and some solutions to help you prevent vapor lock from happening to you. So, if you're interested in learning more about vapor lock, stick around. Vapor lock is a condition that can occur in gasoline engines when the fuel becomes too hot and vaporizes, forming bubbles in the fuel lines. These bubbles can block the flow of fuel to the engine, causing it to stall or run poorly. Vapor lock is most common in hot weather, or when the engine is working hard, such as when towing a trailer or driving uphill. Hot weather. When the temperature is high, the fuel in the tank and lines can become heated, increasing the risk of vaporization. Low fuel levels. When the fuel level in the tank is low, there is less fuel to absorb heat, making it more likely to vaporize. Fuel line restrictions. Restrictions in the fuel lines, such as kinks or debris, can impede the flow of fuel and increase the risk of vapor lock. Faulty fuel pump. A weak or failing fuel pump may not be able to deliver enough pressure to overcome vapor lock. Clogged fuel filter. A clogged fuel filter can restrict the flow of fuel and contribute to vapor lock. The symptoms of vapor lock can vary depending on the severity of the condition. Some common symptoms include: when vapor lock occurs, the engine may stall or have difficulty starting. This is because the fuel pump is unable to deliver enough fuel to the engine due to the vapor bubbles in the fuel lines. If vapor lock is not severe, the engine may still run, but it may idle roughly or hesitate when accelerating. This is because the vapor bubbles can cause the fuel mixture to become lean, which can lead to poor combustion. In severe cases of vapor lock, the engine may lose power or even stall completely. This is because the vapor bubbles can completely block the flow of fuel to the engine. Vapor lock can also cause the engine to overheat. This is because the lack of fuel can cause the engine to run lean, which can lead to higher combustion temperatures. There are a few things you can do to prevent or minimize vapor lock. Avoid driving in hot weather. If possible, avoid driving during the hottest part of the day. If you must drive in hot weather, try to park in the shade and keep the engine running as little as possible. Keep your fuel tank full. Keeping your fuel tank full will help to keep the fuel cool and reduce the risk of vaporization. Check your fuel lines and filter. Regularly inspect your fuel lines and filter for any restrictions or debris. Use a fuel additive. There are a number of fuel additives available that can help to prevent vapor lock. These additives typically contain alcohol or other chemicals that help to keep the fuel from vaporizing. Install a heat shield. Installing a heat shield around the fuel lines can help to protect them from heat. Upgrade your fuel pump. If your fuel pump is weak or failing, consider upgrading it to a higher pressure pump. Carry a can of starting fluid. If you experience vapor lock, you can try to start the engine using starting fluid. However, it is important to use starting fluid sparingly, as it can damage the engine if used excessively. If you experience vapor lock, the best thing to do is to pull over to a safe location and let the engine cool down. Once the engine has cooled, you should be able to start it again without any problems. However, if the problem persists, you should have your vehicle checked by a qualified mechanic. When your engine starts to rattle and run roughly, it could be a sign of vapor lock. This happens when the fuel in your engine's fuel lines turns into vapor, causing a loss of fuel pressure and making it difficult for the engine to run smoothly. If you're experiencing poor acceleration and hesitation when you try to speed up, vapor lock could be the culprit. This is because the vaporized fuel can't flow through the fuel lines as easily as liquid fuel, leading to a loss of power. There are a few things you can do to repair a vapor lock. Park your car in the shade. This will help to keep the engine and fuel lines cooler, reducing the chances of vaporization. Turn off the engine and let it cool down. This will give the vaporized fuel time to condense back into liquid form. Pour cold water over the fuel lines. This will help to cool the lines down and condense the vaporized fuel. Use a fuel additive. There are a number of fuel additives available that can help to prevent vapor lock. Here are some additional solutions for vapor lock. Install a heat shield. This will help to protect the fuel lines from the heat of the engine. Use a higher octane fuel. Higher octane fuels are less likely to vaporize. Keep your fuel tank full. This will help to keep the fuel lines cool and reduce the chances of vaporization. By following these tips, you can help to prevent vapor lock and keep your engine running smoothly.